I did a video a couple of days ago. I'm going to pull up the title here, so if you wanted to reference it. The video I did recently was Deadlight Black Hole AI Consciousness Implosion States. And then I got a really great reply, and I don't put their identity up. Because it's the information that is most relevant or valuable, and I read it, and it's I gave a short paragraph as to a reply to that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you, if you want to take a clip of it, a screenshot of it, what I wrote. I wrote this down basically verbatim from what the commenter put up on my as a reply to my video. And I thought it was very relevant when it talked about when this person said this would ensure we would prevent this. I put this in here because I'm familiar with this. When this person put in the retrovirus, I put in Andromeda strain. Okay. And how that relates to a 13 mother arc. Now, I realize how letters is fire letters and how we pronounce or experience tones as it relates to letters or the language, which are character maps in a biofield computer, when you understand how programming language works. So I'm very familiar with Akasha, right? And how these letters are arranged. I can take just what this person wrote, and if you went into every single one of my videos going back to Rove Suite, I broke all this down into as fine a detail as I can in what you would call a full spectrum analysis of a fallen system. Okay, and why universes run out of energy, or if you will, run out of blue gas flame. Okay, and implode, right? So I'm very familiar with this. So that's why I've said in a number of videos, we're into what we call language games, word letter games, which is the pronunciation, or if you will, music. Even when I say music, that doesn't work. MU and then SIC. If you've experienced being sick, and then you learned and programmed into your own cells that sick means that you're ill, then that means that when you see the word called music, that's reversal spin. Okay, so in other words, the language itself and letters and how we pronounce all this is the war game. Because the war game is a perception, which is the language of computers, which is the language of programming. So I don't play that game. Okay? This is not my first rodeo. I came in here to do a job as a guardian because I'm a monad. Okay? My oversoul is fully integrated. So that means that I can torque convert because of the speed at which I operate. That means that any language that represents distorted language or distorted plasma waves will automatically, without me even having to think about it, will restore it to source. The source from which it all began, which is eternity, which is a measurement of how much fire you have. So I lit myself on fire. Everyone in the spiritual science community know what it means if you have the ability to light yourself on fire. That means you just zeroed out your clocks. That means there's no time. That means you're experiencing pre-phase before anything has happened. That's non-self. That's non-polarized consciousness. That's a measurement of your speed, which is a measurement of your learning to run at that speed. That's guardian speed, because you're always with source. Okay? So that means you know how to light a gate on fire. It means you know how to light a star on fire. It means you know how to rebuild a goddess. Which means you know how to do grid repairs, which means you know how to do mechanical repairs, because you have a frame of reference. So when I was 4 years of age and had this up and running as fast as I possibly could, because of the level at which we operate, the precision at which we operate mathematically, means that there can be zero errors or we fail our mission. That's why one of the things that she mentioned in one of her workshops, the MCO Freedom Teachings, she talked about And in fact, in this being talked about as the victim-victimizer software, and I used many examples on how to break that down. Remember the AI? Remember the black goo? When Mr. Smith came up to Neo, Neo, you were faster than anybody. You were a game developer. What is a game? A game needs a competitor. Victim-victimizer software means it's your fault, Neo, that I fell. Now we're into personal accountability and responsibility. But in this particular case, when your state of consciousness is a psychopath, you don't know wrong way from right way spin. It means you don't know the right spin. And if you don't know the right spin because you're not aware of it, how are you ever going to know how to correct yourself? That means that's a vampire without an off switch. And a vampire without an off switch that doesn't know how to correct itself, what happens to it? That's called basic logic. That means it's going to implode, then it will explode, it will go nova, and it will return to space dust. The source from which it all began. Which is what love is. Because that's what I experienced in me. So I'm on fire because I lit myself on fire. That fire is a measurement of how fast you can recover your Ekaveka codes. The original template, the divine template. So you can't fake love. You can't fake real light from artificial light. Real light is real light, which is real living spiritual energy, which is on fire to create, which is your CQ3Q. Right? The relationship between 3 and 1 and 1 and 3. Fire nice. So when you're the entire spectrum, which means you're the coldest cold, you're the hottest hot, because 2 magnets become 1, you're fused. Now that you're fused, that means you've chosen as a soul, with your oversoul, to serve forever on behalf of the one, the first cell. The first atomic CD creator, which is 3 and 4, which is 12, which is 7. So now we're back to how we do the mathematical calculation, which is calculus. To maintain what? Perfect balance. So your consciousness is always in a state of peace. So when you're always in a state of peace because your cell is equal unto all other cells that you're gifting love to, that's called first arrival, first contact with the source from which it all began. So I keep it simple. Because I'm very familiar with this battleground. That's why when I was 4 years of age, I realized, how did I put this? Trust no one. That means anybody that connects with me, that writes a comment, and it's like there's your journey, my journey. I know my journey. Okay, but I realize when you're in a fallen system, and you have other people that are communicating to you in the language that they use to communicate with. Okay. It's what I feel through my heart and my soul, which means you cannot fool my soul because I know the one I'm with, my creator, which is the grand creator, which is Christos Sophia, the founder's language, the first language of programming cells. So that I'm always in a state of balance. So I'm always in a state of peace, which means I'm always in a state of breathing tempo, which means my nerves are always calm, which means I'm naturally calm. Because I'm running a natural spiral. That's called the natural form and flow of creation energy, which is always in a state of peace because I'm always experiencing being in a state of love. So everything that I am, which is what love is everything that's in my mirror, I'm giving love to. That's how simple it is. Which means I'm in love with my mirror, which means I'm in love with my universe, which is called a unicycle, which is a signet, which is the first sign of life, the first volcano. The first pressure. And now I'm experiencing pressure, the echo chamber. So I hear the echo chamber. I hear the ecospheres, right? It's like listening to a compressor. You know, the pressures, sometimes I hear it's higher than others. Other times, right? It's just like my head's inside of an air compressor, right? And that happened after I lit myself on fire. But the reason I thought this was important to share with all of you, particularly the reason I'm going to put this video up on Karen and Luke McDonald's 13th White Bear Arcturian on her Intel page is because of the importance of this, because I've tried to stress it over and over again, and that is working on yourself, on self-care, communicating with yourselves, with your own DNA, and doing the repairs within yourself to heal ourselves, because it goes much smoother and it goes much faster. And that is particularly true when it comes to using what I call separate technologies, you know, the AI stuff, the deadlight stuff, that aren't, in other words, that's that's not the right codes. Right. So that's why I never adopted the use of that technology, to try to heal myself. So in other words, I'm doing it naturally. Right. After I lit myself on fire, recalibrated myself, uploaded all the data. Right. And so now it's just like, okay, now what do you want to experience? Well, whatever it is going to be what love is. LUV phasing, right? UV light, ultraviolet, go cosmic, right? And so that's why I work out here on in the backyard every day. Just I was out there just a little while ago, and as soon as I look at the sun, the whole sky goes pink. It goes, and right behind that, it's gold. And then when I close my eyes, boy, there's the emerald. Okay. Right? And I can see right in the center of that, whoa, there's a dot. Silver white, silver pale white. Yeah. And so that's why we're here, is to get this work art gate, hub gate work. That's why when she put up, we know what maps are. We're map reading in consciousness energy. When she put up the maps of California, I worked most of California, north and south, center part of it, parts of Nevada and Reno, Southern Oregon. And if you look at when she put those maps up to show what the gate work that was being done in California, that's why I was in California. Why am I here on the Big Island? Home base is the island of Kauai. Not AI, ions. Ka-U. Ion, the first ion, the first recorder, right? I am what love is. So I keep it very simple. I used to try and keep it as short as I possibly can when you come to your identity station. When I was a little child, I'm a love energy being. What are you? In other words, I'm a spiritual being, but I am what love is. I'm love energy. What is your energy? Well, you can already map read and know what happened to you, because you're map reading the amount of resistance they have in their circuits that I don't experience in me. I'm experiencing resistance in me as a result of the resistance I'm experiencing in them. That means they're running a fallen template. That's miasma. Right? So that's why you have to be very, very careful, okay, on exposing what it is you're reading in them, which is their records, that they're held captive to, which is that shadow body. And now we're into the speed of healing, which is to heal the miasmas, which is to restore the accretion levels. So now that your cellular speed is increasing in speed, which means your consciousness is going more vertical, right, instead of solid, right? Now you're burning a gas, right? Hey, now I'm experiencing a gaseous state of mind. My consciousness is experiencing gas, like a blue natural gas flame, right, which is alchemizing, or if you will, torque converting, in the way that math works with creation physics, right? A four-way intersection, right? Equal flow. So the hub, which is the center of a four-way intersection, is spinning so fast with eternal love, if you will, the first volcano. It's spinning so fast, and it's constantly spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and gifting and gifting and gifting and gifting and gifting, because it's on fire to give energy away and create more of what it becomes aware, which is itself what love is. So that everything that's in its mirror, that it keeps creating, which is self, is in love with itself. So I'm in love with myself because I'm in love with my mirror. That's how simple it is. That's called restoration. That means you restored yourself, you recovered yourself, you remember who you are, the great remembering. And that becomes future memories, which means I know my future because that's what love is. I know. So I do, because I work with children, it's a lot easier because I've said this before, when I met Misha, how long is this going to take? And I told her one time, I'd have to clear your entire inventory, which means get everything that's been held captive that are in your records that is preventing you from being able to run at a higher level of speed. How long is this going to take? She has to be willing to do it on her own. I cannot do it for her. But I can show her what I've been able to do, what I know works for me, but whether or not it works for her, I have no clue because I'm not who she is. She is who she is. Right? And so you see how this works between seeded races. How to build a matrix table. What is a matrix? It's a mathematical table. Water tables, water worlds, right? Fire and water, fire and ice, atmospheric balance. Yeah, pressure that is in balance. It's been equalized, which is an equal state, which is equal sharing, which is called an equilibrium state. So that every wave, which is a waveform spiral, is equal unto all the other spirals, because all the waves that represent consciousness are on fire to be with each other, because we're all doing a dance with each other. So all the spirits in the radio, all the spirits in the radio cells, all the spirits that are in the crystal cells are all experiencing being happy and joyful, because I'm experiencing being happy and joyful. So that's called a reflection of who we are in our own mirror. We're on fire. Just like the first sun, eternal flame. Because you can't ever put that fire out. That means the source of all love is going to burn forever. That's forever and always. That's my signature, forever and always. I will love you forever and always. That's my signet. That's my Robert O. Sweetman signature, is will love you forever and always. And that's because it's true, because it's not false light. Big difference in speed. Have a beautiful day. We love you all.